Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns and why I think they're cooked. And I don't know where they're going after this season because they have a lot of money tied up into Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. Obviously, Bradley Beal has the no trade clause, so good luck trying to convince him to waive that and want to be traded. That probably won't go well. So the Suns are limited with options. Now, before I go into anything else, credit the Timberwolves. This team is for real. They are a legit contender. And between Denver and the Celtics, they are right there with them. They deserve to be in that conversation. Anthony Edwards is a superstar. To me, he's officially the best shooting guard in the NBA. There is no doubt about it. He wants the smoke, he wants the spotlight, and he's ready to be that face of the NBA, in my opinion. He's just right there. And he's only going to get better. That's the scary part. And with Cat, he did his thing. He played his role. He didn't do too much. And then, of course, McDaniels, he had his moments where he was phenomenal. And then defensively, he just locks you up. So I just love the Minnesota Timberwolves for the fact that they have an elite defense. So kudos to the Wolves. Now, moving on to the Suns. This is a disaster. You got swept. And I don't want to hear the excuses of, oh, well, we didn't have a point guard. And it's valid to an extent. But Kevin Durant had to sign off on getting Bradley Beal. And when I look at the Phoenix Suns coming into the season, I question the roster construction because they didn't have a point guard who could organize the offense. There is a glaring difference between Chris Paul and Bradley Beal when it comes to running the offense. It is beyond obvious. And, they struggled with fourth quarters and they were dead last in a lot of categories with the fourth quarter. And they come into the playoffs. They're 3-0 against Minnesota. I thought they could push the Wolves to 7 games. I just thought Minnesota had the better defense. And they had the front court, which, again, exposed itself in this series because the Suns, they got Nurkic. He's nice, but is he tough and physical like a Rudy Gobert, like a Karl Anthony Towns? No. And Minnesota out-physicaled this team. They were just all up in their business. What can the Suns do to improve this roster? I don't know because Bradley Beal has a no trade clause. Good luck convincing him that he should leave Phoenix. That won't go over well. There's reports today saying that the Suns are going to just try to figure this out. They do have the draft pick. It's 22nd this year. I know the draft isn't really good with a lot of talent. Obviously, that's a lot of speculation, but the Suns need to do some soul searching here because you traded for Kevin Durant. It looked really good because when Devin Booker and Kevin Durant were on the court, they were 8-0 going into the playoffs. They had a good run. Chris Paul got hurt, unfortunately, the hamstring issue again against the Nuggets in game 2. But you thought to yourself, okay, the Suns have the right pieces. They just need to put the role players together and go out and play good basketball. They come out. They're not a top 3 team in the conference. And it just seems like there's a changing of the guard going on with a new era of basketball. I think it's great to see. Anthony Edwards, to me, again, I've said it, he's a true superstar. There's no doubt about it. But again, you're Kevin Durant. Now let's look at the whole career of Kevin Durant. He played with the Thunder. He made 3 Western Conference Finals. He made an NBA Finals. He won an MVP. What happened after that? He went to the Golden State Warriors. And the reason why he went there, he wanted to play team basketball and wanted to win. Got his championships. But he left Golden State because of Draymond Green, and he didn't always get along with Steve Kerr. And he ended up leaving, and I think it was the biggest mistake of Kevin Durant's career. He should have stayed with Golden State. Regardless of what people had to say, you could have built your legacy and kept winning titles. But instead, you go to Brooklyn. Now, again, it didn't work out with James Harden and Kyrie Irving. Obviously, that first season you were hurt. You come back in the second season. You get to a game 7 against the Bucks. You were phenomenal until overtime, didn't score in overtime, and you got to continue to finish the job. I know his big toe, if it was a little bit behind the line, they would have won the series. Then you come back a year later. Obviously, Kyrie's vaccine situation, James Harden didn't like that going on, so he demanded a trade, got out of Brooklyn, and it was just a rough season. You come back a year later, you're looking good. You're second in the East. Kevin Durant gets hurt, unfortunately, in January, and then he gets out of Brooklyn after Kyrie gets traded to Dallas, and then now you're with the Suns. And now you have a really good player in Devin Booker. There's no doubt about that. Still a top 5 shooting guard in the league. You got Bradley Beal. You need to figure this out. And the reason why I'm not going to just dismiss Kevin Durant today, because what has he done since he left the Warriors? Unfortunately, this is part of his legacy now. Now, do I still think he's a top 20 player of all time? I do, because there's enough on his resume we don't want to forget about. But with that being said, if you continue to go out this way in the playoffs, and you're not elevating your team or getting them past the first round, it's not a good look. So the Suns need to figure out what they're going to do here. I'm not going to blame the coach. They can say anything about, they're going to fire Frank Vogel. It's not his fault. A new coach isn't going to fix all this overnight. You need a point guard because if you don't have a point guard, you're going to have the same issues next season. Now, there's a report by The Athletic where they did say that Kevin Durant was not comfortable in his role with the Suns this season. Now, thinking to myself, you're the leader. If you're unhappy with your role, say something, voice your opinions. Don't just say, okay, I'll just go to the corner, take my threes, and call it a day. Now, he shot 46%, which is a good clip, but he felt like he wasn't used correctly. And I'm thinking, why are these reports coming out now? If you had issues, talk about it during the regular season and work it out. We saw guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They went through a struggle. And if you don't remember, back in the COVID season, they didn't play very well. Jaylen Brown got hurt. They finished 7th, and Tatum had a great playoff game against the Nets. It was game 3. They lost in 5. They come back the next season. They get a new coach in Udoka. They struggled out the gates. I think they were 18-21. And in the middle of January, people wondered, is this team ever going to rise to the occasion? Well, guess what? They did. And now they're constantly trying to pursue a championship now. So my thing is this. You got to figure this out. You're Devin Booker. You're Kevin Durant. You need to lock in and figure out why you guys struggle and get outplayed by other opponents. It shouldn't be a situation where the Wolves just dominate you for 4 straight games. It's inexcusable. I'm not trying to take anything away from the Timberwolves. I'm really not. But when people view Kevin Durant and try to put him in the same conversation with guys like LeBron and Steph Curry, he shouldn't be in those conversations. No more. Until he shows that he can have a deep playoff run. And this is why I said in another video, he needs a deep playoff run. Because at this stage of his career, it's getting pretty nasty out there for Kevin Durant. You leave the Warriors. You haven't done anything since. You haven't gotten to a conference finals. I know, again, it didn't work out in Brooklyn, but you're with the Suns now. And if I hear anything about he wants to be traded or he wants to leave, it's just, you got to just work it out, man. Now, I still support Kevin Durant. He's still my favorite player. So I'm not going to just bash him all the time because, again, you should support your favorite players even when they're in their down moments. But with all that being said, if I'm the Phoenix Suns, I'm looking at this roster and going, okay, I got Kevin Durant. I got Booker. How can I improve this roster? Obviously, you should address the front court issues. You need more bodies up front. Kevin Durant shouldn't be playing power forward. That's not a good idea. And then find some assistant coaches that can make this offense better. On top of that, Booker and KD become better leaders. KD talks about leadership in a different way, but my guy, you got to lead this team. Because in my eyes, you're viewed as a top 10, arguably a top 5 player still, in my opinion. But if you're not executing and leading your team and rising to the occasion, these questions are going to come up about whether you are really as good as you are since you left the Warriors. Fair or unfair, that's just a reality. There needs to be some accountability. There needs to be some reflection on the season. And the Suns better come out next season with guns blazing. Like, I don't want to hear, oh, yeah, we got injuries. Oh, we got this. No. If you can't be a top 4 team in the Western Conference, it's a disappointment. If you can't get past the first round, you're getting swept again or losing 5 games, it's a disappointment. And I can't protect Kevin Durant anymore because, again, I see a guy like Jimmy Butler who has the 8th seed. He loses Tyler Hero last year, gets them to the NBA Finals, and he carries that team. And they end up, I know they lost to Denver, but he still ended up doing that. Now, I've seen Kevin Durant get to the conference finals, you get to the NBA Finals. We've seen him do that. But ever since he left Golden State, what's happened? I don't want to, just keep saying, oh, yeah, Kevin Durant's a great player, great scorer. He is all that. But at the same time, there needs to be some accountability. There needs to be some soul searching here. And the Suns better figure this out because it's going to get worse if they don't figure out how to play together as a basketball team. Improve your front court, get a point guard because you need one. It's obvious. And then find some better wing defenders because I feel like if they can put Kevin Durant at small forward and have other wings around him who can protect the paint and have a better center out there, they'll be in good hands. So a lot needs to happen for the Suns. I don't know how it's going to turn around. Do I think they're going to be better next year? It's tough to even say because I think the Thunder are still going to be around, of course. The Timberwolves, even like a team like the Pelicans has a shot to, I think, have a really good season next year. Then you got the Clippers still. There's just so much competition. The Grizzlies are going to be back. They're going to be healthy. And now the Suns might be on the outside looking in. There's a new era coming. This is natural in the NBA where you have one generation passing the torch to the next generation. So we'll see. Again, Kevin Durant, my guy, as much as I love him as a basketball player, this is not a good look. Hope you guys enjoy this video today. What do you think about the Phoenix Suns? Do you think they're cooked? Do you think they have any shot of turning things around and being competitive in the Western Conference next season? Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.